Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This is Seeking Me Productions bring you another ranking video.
So we are going to tackle one of Hollywood's most legendary directors.
And we are talking about Steven Spielberg.
Now we've seen pretty much a good majority of his filmography.
Yeah, and if you're a cinema fan or have been watching movies like forever in your entire life.
He's pretty much in the zeitgeist of almost everybody.
And he's particularly been a pioneer in the filmmaking world. Like he was known as a prodigy even at a young age, and just like tackle on very like started off in the television world, very short period of time before catapulting to films, feature-length films entirely, and like essentially he was like the second director in Hollywood at the golden, like turn the golden age to bronze, after Hitchcock, where essentially every movie became an event.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who doesn't know any of the major blockbusters that he's produced, and on top of the smaller films that he's also created. Basically, he's pretty much on a monolith in and of himself.
Mm-hmm. And I would say at the turn of the century, his career is mostly been part filmmaker and part producer. And I would say at the turn of the 2000s era, that's when we started seeing that some of his projects are like became more hit and miss.
Yeah.
Not like he became more personal works is more drawn to him,
and which is completely his right to do. I mean, with somebody with as much of an illustrious career as he has made, taking time out for yourself is definitely something that you have earned the right to do. However, as we all know that in Hollywood, or at least one of the major let's say sayings that spun around there is that it was a two for them, one for you situation, where you have to create things that the audiences will like, and then you have your passion projects that you would like. So for this particular video, we wanted to string together our collection of his work and see where they rank for us.
So let's start off with the honorable mentions here. Start with The Adventures of Tintin.
I was never in the whole realm of understanding what the Tintin was. I was familiar that, or at least knew that he existed, but as far as the lore and the entire storyline, I didn't know much about it.
And if you're American, you're technically more clueless in effect of Tintin, because Tintin is technically a French comic book. If you not know what Tintin is, it's essentially about an independent reporter who goes globally traveling around the world in search of stories about typically revolve around ancient treasures and civilizations. It has very in line with Indiana Jones or anything swashbuckler related. At the time of this movie, this was also supposed to be planned trilogy.
Never got that trilogy.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a partnership between Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson, where Peter Jackson was supposed to direct the second movie, and then both of them together would have done the third movie.
That's really sad that we never really got that, considering that at the end of the day, this was actually a well-made film, and it goes through the storyline pretty well. I was very thoroughly entertained with Tintin's adventure.
This was Steven Spielberg's first feature-length animated movie, and this is one of the cases where he had to teach himself new tricks, and it really did pay off.
Like, you would not guess that this was really one of his first times, working in this particular medium. For somebody that this is their first try and they were learning as they go, wow. That just shows you just how talented he is as a director and as a creator.
But I would say, even then, with narrative-wise, why is it only an honorable mention? It does have the feeling of combining multiple stories that that I was thinking would probably been better separate.
Yeah, this movie was just like pretty much a conglomeration of multiple different storylines into one that feels certain parts of it kind of definitely suffered because it was trying to stretch this long story into one go.
And also, because this is an anime movie, he probably felt that though anime movies are mostly strictly towards families, it like the humor is very, very lowbrow, and it doesn't all the humor does not land. The other honorable mention it will be West Side Story. Again, well crafted movie.
Like really well done.
This is also another first for Steven Spielberg. Him directing his first full-length musical. Again, it was like when he's learning new stuff, he definitely would not even notice that this is the first time he's doing it.
It's it's amazing in certain regards because of the mere fact that the strong, direction, the cinematography that went into this,
choreography.
Oh my God! I mean, this again is if you saw the original West Side Story, this would fit just right alongside it.
It's just that Steven Spielberg, I guess he's just a man of a certain age, and he wants to preserve as much as faithful as possible.
It's pretty much almost beat by beat, and I guess that in and of itself is the problem. Where this, I feel as though with a newer rendition of this exact story, of the exact same story, would have made this film even better, or would have put it back or put it on our list. Would have been updated the material to fit for more modern times.
Probably set it in present day.
In the present day, like what was the problem? This story in itself is timeless and it could fit in multiple different generations. So why not update it for today's audiences? He did it.
And the other honorable mention is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
This was not my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I'm just going to go out here and say it.
Well, it is low tier Indiana Jones movie.
And it's mostly because I feel as though if we had followed the plot line that originally started in the beginning of this film, we would have had a story.
Yeah, the villain in the opening sequence
was so good.
If they decided the whole movie extended with the set, probably mostly set in China.
Yeah,
this would have been a good movie.
We would have been here for the whole shebang, but then they went ahead and did the other fast forward to another area and another storyline altogether. And I'm like, it's okay, but there's so many problems that it goes.
It's riddled with a lot of inaccuracy. And talk about a movie that's supposed to be archaeological. We get it's fantasy and it's action picture,
but there's some liberties that honestly probably should not have been taken.
And character of Short Round, played by K. Kwai Kwan. I like the character. I feel as though the character, among the following Indiana Jones installments that have happened in modern day, he probably should have benefited with a Disney Plus spinoff, but yeah, especially with his actor is coming back into the spotlight. But Temple of Doom, very strong beginning, but it
fizzled out way too quick.
And we start our official ranking video with Duel, very early Steven Spielberg movie. Duel, which is about an everyday man who's on the road but is mysteriously stalked by this unknown truck driver. This movie originally was a TV movie that was upgraded for a theatrical release due to how well Steven Spielberg directed the heck out of this movie. And you can definitely see the influences of his later works, especially down the line, and also been parodied also in other, or pay homage to in other movies. You will definitely see essence of Jaws with the chase factor, some essence of a lot of the chase scenes of the vehicle chase scenes of Indiana Jones, but it's mostly through sheer tension. I describe this more like a Twilight Zone episode on steroids because of the mysteriousness, because we did the unknown figure. We never see this truck driver's face. We don't even know why this beef even started, but it is an adrenaline rush through and through. I appreciate it, and it's also a great movie, I feel, so people should pay attention, especially if you're a student of film.
Next on the list,
Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, I would say, is easily the second best Indiana Jones
hands
movie.
down.
At the time, it was a landmark because you had rising star Harrison Ford
Mm-hmm.
being paired with legendary film actor Sean Connery as his father.
And oh my God, how that actually works is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it introduced to us with the late River Phoenix in the opening sequence of Indiana Jones, and the adventure of a father and son on the quest to find the Holy Grail. You still see some influences, but definitely Captain America in the first Avengers movie take strong inspirations from this movie in particular. Like still to this day, some very standout action work, but the heart and the humor holds up to this day. Number 8 will be Saving Private Ryan.
I feel as though we all watched this in history class. Everybody. There's no, I defy you to tell me that you did watch this film in your classroom.
And also another one coming up very soon. But Saving Private Ryan, still to this day, one of the go-to war films, especially in the World War II genre.
And especially one that actually does do an astounding job at helping you understand the gravity of the situation that was during this time period, especially for those who had to storm the beaches on D-Day. Wow, this is a visceral film, and the stakes that he lines up for each individual soldier as we follow them on this journey to find this
one last son
of his family, which is a messed up situation in and of itself, to lose most of the whole family and only to have one individual left that you had to go out here and save because, my God, did y'all make an ultimate sacrifice for country? Wow.
Even when the movie starts off with showing that strong brutality of warfare itself, it never lets up.
Like it keeps building and building. You're on this edge of your seat until the very credits roll.
Definitely a top 10 in the top 10 best war movies. Period. We're shifting gears to shifting genres because Steven Spielberg practically worked within every genre possible, and a recurring genre that he is always go to is sci-fi. War of the Worlds.
Let me tell you about this film. When this first came out and when we actually got to see this, the sequences of the Martians or the aliens themselves when they were going throughout the city, zapping people, stayed with me for way longer than they ever should have. The annihilation that was being done in this film was jaw-dropping, to say the least. Like, I really felt there was points where I was like, "Oh my God, this actually happens. We're screwed." Yeah,
the sense of scale is definitely adds to the terrifying nature. I'm surprised this movie actually doesn't talk about more in the horror genre.
Like, honestly, like the way that you see people die in this film and the way that the aliens are portrayed when they're actually attacking and conquering over Earth. It's some pretty creepy stuff. I mean, when you have like tentacles of blood being grown out from the area because they're up there draining people, like that's messed up. The people, turning to ash for their leg. Like I said, this film it does some stuff.
Yeah. Tom Cruise stars in this movie,
and actually, in my opinion, I think this is actually one of his best films.
As an actual performance, definitely. And young Dakota Fanning, she's been delivering strong performances from a young age to still to this day. One of the top 5 best adaptations of this classic story of H.G. Wells. There was some very bad ones, but this definitely takes an upgrade. Now coming up, and it's a twofer actually, and what we're talking about is both Schindler's List and Amistad. Now, Schindler's List is the more lauded, more praised of the two. That came out in the double year, and it came in the same year as where Jurassic Park came out. Well, also releasing 2 bangers, one for the blockbuster crowd and the other for the drama somber crowd. And with Schindler's List, talk about the tale of Schindler, the lucrative German businessman who starts making deals with the Nazi Germany's to employ workers the Jewish workers during that time, during World War II, in a new factory. Once he starts seeing the horrors that were happening in the Holocaust,
he of course uses his business ventures to start saving lives, and I believe that at the end of it, he made such a courageous impact from the lives of many Jewish individuals. But
with Amistad, the trial that take underway after a slave ship from Spain on embark to Cuba is basically called mutiny of aboard once the slaves actually took control of the ship and started taking it after being shipped off, being stolen from their land.
And having to prove the situation in which how they could actually move their way back to going to Africa, back to their lives, out of these desperate and quite heinous times for individuals of color during this period.
Black people and Africans. It's just both movies.
They're dealing with subject matters of individuals who were oppressed and have such, deep traumatic experiences that flows from these particular stories.
Both movies are also say that once you watch one, that's all you will do. You will be able to do because after both are very hard to watch movies.
Again, I can't stress it enough. You have to see both of them. So these are just one of those movies you just have to see because those stories are just that important for anyone to understand the empathetic aspects that we need to develop within our societies.
Now, when we say part of the reasons why these movies are not too much, it's not higher up on our list is one. I do feel that these movies are too long. They get stressed out. It does twist the sentimental, it twists the emotional degree to a high 11 to the point of okay.
It's like you have to experience these films for what they actually have to offer you as far as storyline is concerned. But I don't know if that necessarily qualifies them to be the best of the best.
But they are definitely some of his best work. Lincoln, about Abraham Lincoln's final days after gives the Gettysburg Address, and now on his path to start signing, trying to finish the Civil War. And a lot of this movie deals with the very, very intense lobbying to get the votes needed in this period.
I feel so with this particular film, one of the beautiful things that Spielberg got across is the concept of the lobbying system, as far as anybody needs to understand how government really works, and then especially how laws and regulations get passed. And
this movie, of course, is anchored by the phenomenal, exceptional performance of Daniel Day-Lewis.
Probably one of his best roles I've ever seen him in.
Yes. On the back list of already talented ensemble cast, this movie is also very funny, humorously.
Oh my God!
Surprisingly so.
He gave me one of the funniest dang lines I've ever heard in a film. They'll be free, George. They'll be free.
It's like you'll think that this movie was comedy, but it also still
reminds you
the heavy gravity of what's at stake. It really does have some commonality with most of Steven Spielberg's filmography is that for the most part he directs American movies through and through as the major theme.
I always find myself finding like I need a cheeseburger, fries, and a milkshake when I'm watching his films. I need something comfort, something Americana to keep me comfy. E.T. is probably the quintessential, alien exploration movie that anybody got exposed to when they were a kid. Now, I gotta say, for my sake, I was probably the best fan, the biggest fan of this film. In fact, there was another movie that came out during this time that E.T. totally blew out the water that technically is actually more favored by me than anything else. Blade Runner, if y'all understand. That one actually held way more for me, but not to say that I don't understand why this film is held lauded by everybody else.
Like, this movie is part coming of age story, part sci-fi adventure.
Yeah.
He made the suburban life, as small as it technically is, feel much more bigger. We're seeing the eyes of a children's perspective on full display here, introducing talent of Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore. Definitely see how well Steven Spielberg directs children, like some of the best, and still to this day. Not many people direct direct children.
Yeah.
And he definitely does the reverse factor of putting the government aspect into more of the antagonistic, mysterious route.
Yep.
The alien, showing empathy with the alien of E.T. Through the eyes of a child, and the classic John Williams score just soaring through with all our feels.
It really does feel like straight up magic.
This movie definitely is the blueprint for other young coming of age stories that we see down the line.
Yep.
And is where we start seeing Spielbergian as a terminology. Number 3, Jurassic Park, the first one.
You're lying to yourself if you say you hate this film. There's no way heck. I mean, this movie is the dinosaur movie for the most part for everybody. I feel as though this is the one that also I feel as though Hollywood really needs to find itself to break away from too. Just to say, on the other half end, because I feel as though because of how well Spielberg made this movie so well that I feel as though Hollywood in itself doesn't know what to do with the genre as a whole because of how well Jurassic Park was made.
Like, based off the famous novel from the same guy who who wrote Westworld, I believe.
Yeah.
About a group of paleontologists and theorists who are come on board of a newly designed dinosaur theme park.
This film goes down as one of the major films that actually showcase what is truly possible to be done when creating lifelike creatures for film, or creating creatures that are supposed to feel alive.
And what the first movie, what it does so well is it balances the awe, wonder, the horrors of the situation if this were to occur, but also the ethical discussions and debate on why or should bringing life exist. Now, this ethical dilemma is definitely thrown away out in its subsequent sequels.
Yeah, I feel as though Jurassic Park never really ever got back to the same heights as it was for this particular first installment.
We actually stopped watching Jurassic movies after Jurassic World.
Yeah. Now let's go out here and create better, dinosaur movies.
Number 2 on the list, we're back to Indiana Jones, and this is the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Building off the popularity of Harrison Ford's role of Han Solo in Star Wars, both movies was like Lucasfilm. That George Lucas wrote the story, came up with the story that Steven Spielberg directs with his best pal. And it's basically the whole reason why Indiana Jones exists is the throwback to the old 1940s serials. And just like I said when I discussed Duel, this movie is definitely a blueprint for all action movies down the line.
Yeah.
How, still to this day, some of the best action you'll see. Brightly staged, all mostly done. Everything is done practically in camera. You don't see stunt work like this mostly in Hollywood movies nowadays because of obvious dangers.
Codes and stuff like that. And you understand, but at the same time, it's also can we go back to some of this?
Mm-hmm. And of course, going back to his partnership with John Williams, another iconic score nonetheless. Number 1 on the list, a movie that we actually have a review on this channel, and that is Jaws.
The quintessential summer blockbuster.
Jaws is definitely on the debate on whether or not it is a thriller, a horror movie, or adventure movie.
But he's definitely a creature feature movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story that pretty much assured that you kept almost an entire generation out the water for. I feel as though individuals come out the womb understanding Jaws.
We could discuss all days about the horrors of the production that went on.
It's legendary how bad things went down, but also how well they worked out.
But because of how well it worked out, you have never known
That this film was plagued with production issues. This is how you know that somebody is a master of their craft when they're able to take so many lemons and create a full sea worth of lemonade.
from the earlier work of his. It is still a top tier Steven Spielberg movie that is always watched around the summertime.
It's like it's almost like Southern legend in certain regards.
It's cinema legend.
Yes.
And so that was our list of our ranking of our favorite Steven Spielberg movies.
Any of yours made it onto this list, and if you haven't made on this list, let us know. Let's talk about them. Which ones do you feel as though we got right? That the placement is exactly where it needs to be. Which ones we got wrong?
Now, at the time of this video, the release of Disclosure Day came out. We have yet to watch that movie. Do plan to, but not online. We don't know where exactly that might have landed on this list.
Yeah.
There are a lot of there's a lot of mid-tier Steven Spielberg movies that we feel. Definitely a mid-tier movie that we have. Ironically, the only other, shamefully, the only other review that we have of Steven Spielberg is Ready Player One.
Yeah.
But we wanted to finally discuss Steven Spielberg's work
On this
in
channel
depth.
to be, just to let y'all know where we find his work to be.
So yeah, how do you feel about this list? Well, how would you rank them? And let's discuss, especially on our other social media outlets, Threads, Instagram, and also Letterboxd, for all things that we don't necessarily post on this channel, but we do discuss nonetheless.
And I'm here.
My name is Adam, and this has been Siki Media Productions.
See y'all later.